wanna be the greatest. Everybody on the fake shit. I look around and feel like everybody is the fakest. I make this every day and I'm impatient, hoping one day I blow up from the basement. Statement, the top is so vacant. I don't even...
What's that? Breaking news. We're back. Live and on the air for episode 67 of the Fourth Down Forum podcast. Y'all thought I forgot? No, baby. Look at this right here. Ignore the chicken scratch handwriting. But week 1, NFL Pickems. We're live. We're going to break it down. We had some stuff happen. We're going to put those to the side. But boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 67 of the Fourth Down Forum podcast. Now, where have I been? That's for me to know, y'all to find out. I've been here. I've been working. A great man by the name of Elton John once wrote a song called I'm Still Standing. Shout out to that. But yes, we are going to be going over our week 1 NFL Pickems. Now I know, I said we were going to do a lot of stuff. The Kobe Bryant Player Podcast. What happened to that? My bad. College Pickems. What happened to that? Season starts tomorrow, doesn't it? We'll focus on the now. So, we kick off the season. Thursday night football. Next Thursday. I'm excited. I know y'all are excited. The Dallas Cowboys and the Philadelphia Eagles. So, the big news out of there is the Cowboys just traded Micah Parsons to the Green Bay Packers. So, who do I have winning this game and why? Now, I could pick the Cowboys. Am I going to? Probably not. So I have the Philadelphia Eagles winning this game. And the reason I have the Eagles winning this game is partially because the Dallas Cowboys just lost Micah Parsons. So you figure that was one of their defenders. That was one of their run stoppers. Now in return, they did get Kenny Clark, but Kenny Clark's coming off of injury. So I have the Eagles taking the first game of the season. Then we get to our Friday night game, which I believe again is in Brazil, between the Chiefs and the Chargers. Now, the big news out of the Chiefs camp. Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce just got engaged. Congratulations to the couple. Love to see it. Who do I have winning this game and why? Now, I could pick the Chargers, but am I going to? No, because remember last year when I did the week 1 Pickems? What happened? What happened when I did the week 1 Pickems? I picked the Ravens over the Chiefs. Let my bias get in the way. Are we going to do that again? Find out later in the episode. I have the Kansas City Chiefs taking this game. So then we get into our Sunday slate of games. And we start that with the noon games. The Raiders versus the Patriots. Now, the Patriots got Drake May. The Patriots released Jabril Peppers. Last I saw. I still be keeping up with the sports stuff. Have to. Want to make this a job. Want to make this a career. The Raiders. Pete Carroll's their new head coach. Geno Smith is their quarterback. So everything in here tells me to pick the Patriots. But something in here, I don't know, tells me to pick the Raiders. So sometimes we go with our gut over our mind. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. We are going to take the Las Vegas Raiders beating the Patriots. Now, the Dolphins play the Indianapolis Colts. This game could go either way. Now, the news out of the Colts camp. Anthony Richardson is not the starting quarterback for the Indianapolis Colts. Former Giants, New York Giants, I should say, and Minnesota Vikings quarterback Daniel Jones is the week 1 starter for the Indianapolis Colts. So for that reason and that reason alone, do y'all think I'm going to pick the Dolphins? No. Tua has his concerns. I'm not going to sit here and lie. Tua does have some concerns. And the concerns about Tua Tagovailoa, I believe I pronounced his name correctly. If I didn't, forgive me, is his concussion and injury history is a concern. You know, he didn't want to wear the Guardian cap. I'm like, personally, I wouldn't mind. One, it's protecting you. And two, you get to be the damn juggernaut. Who wouldn't want to be the damn juggernaut? Anywho, I got the Miami Dolphins winning this game. Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, who, funny story, I, in my main league in fantasy football, was supposed to have a draft. And I got stuck auto-drafting. Some of the picks worked, some of them didn't. I got Lamar, so cool. But I also got Jalen Waddle, then dropped him for Golden, then picked him back up. Anyways, Dolphins over Colts. Giants Commanders. Now, a lot of people are counting Washington out. And I will tell you why you should not do that. Because they were one game away last season from making the Super Bowl. If they didn't run into the Eagles, they're probably the NFC representative of the Super Bowl. Jaden Daniels. That kid Jaden, as they like to call him. They got other weapons too, but for some reason my mind is drawing a blank. Oh, they just extended Scary Terry. So Terry McLaurin, he's there for the long haul. Now, don't get me wrong. The Giants have one of my favorite receivers in Malik Neighbors. Malik Neighbors is dope. But I also believe the Giants are a bit away from competing, and I don't mean that in a negative way at all. They have a hell of a player in Jackson Dart. You know, I said when I did the mock draft last year, whoever got Dart was going to get a steal of the draft. The Giants did that. But I am picking the Commanders over the Giants here. Now, the Bengals versus the Browns. Joe Flacco. Former Ravens quarterback Joe Flacco. Former Jets. Colts. I think he was with the Colts for a bit. I could be wrong. I know he was with the Eagles for a bit. But where he was a Bronco too. Where he spent majority of his career, though, was with the Baltimore Ravens. That said, Flacco is the number one quarterback. We will see them week 2, but we're not talking about week 2. We are talking about week 1 with another AFC North foe, the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, the Bengals have all offense and no defense, which I think will work very well for week 1 because you have Joe Burrow, you have T. Higgins, you have Jamar Chase. I don't know if they still have Gesicki. But I am taking the Cincinnati Bengals over the Cleveland Browns on this one. The Tennessee Titans versus the Denver Broncos. Now, the Tennessee Titans, I don't know if y'all can see this jersey. Got it for my birthday recently. It is a Dereck Henry jersey. Those of you who know, know. The Titans would not trade us Dereck Henry during the trade deadline a couple of seasons ago, if not last off season. And that bothers me because you did it out of spite. I know y'all did it out of spite. But now we have Dereck Henry and we signed him to a contract extension. But we're not talking about the Ravens yet. Well, I guess I brought them up, so we kind of are. The Broncos, the reigning defensive player of the year in Pat Surtain. Bo Nix. We saw what Bo Nix could do against the Ravens last year. Last year. They are going to be a problem. And, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if they take the West over the Chiefs. Call me crazy. That said, I am taking the Broncos over the Titans in week 1. And I would like to preface this, just because I pick these predictions and pick'ems doesn't mean they're all going to be right. There's going to be plenty of stuff I get wrong. But, as Frank Sinatra says, that's life. The NFC North showdown. The Detroit Lions versus the Green Bay Packers. Now, the Lions made it pretty far in the playoffs last year as well. But, they have a new offensive and defensive coordinator, and we don't know what that's going to look like until the product is on the field. Now, the Packers lost Kenny Clark, lost 2 first-round draft picks, but what they did gain is Micah Parsons. So, I am going to take... They also got Matthew Golden in the draft, which I think was a hell of a pick. You know, former UT Longhorns, not Tennessee UT, for those of you who know, you know. Picked a wide receiver for the first time in I forget how many years. My friend Ryan was telling me about that. I am picking the Packers over the Lions in this matchup. Now, we got the Aaron Rodgers Bowl. And why do I say the Aaron Rodgers Bowl when we were just talking about the Packers and the Lions? Because the Steelers' newest quarterback and presumed starting quarterback is Aaron Rodgers. He was on, for the past 2 seasons, the New York Jets. We thought, and I thought, that this was going to be a Brett Favre trajectory. It was going to go Green Bay, the Jets, the Vikings. He went Green Bay, the Jets, the Steelers. So, but I don't think the Jets have all the pieces to get it done. So I am picking the Steelers over the Jets. Cardinals Saints. Now, the Saints didn't even know who their quarterback was until a week ago. So the Cardinals got Kyler Murray. The Cardinals got Nolan, but I believe he's hurt at the moment. So we are going to take the Cardinals. They got Marvin Harrison Jr. And the Saints got Kamara. They probably got other pieces too, but like Kamara's what sticks out to me. Panthers, Jags. Now, call me crazy. No Carly Rae Jepsen. But. I'm taking the Panthers over the Jags. Bryce Young's looking good. They got Xavier legit. I believe, I don't know if Thielen was a Panther, but he is now a Viking. So, yeah. We're taking the Panthers over the Jags. Bucks, Falcons. Now, Falcons, one thing I will say, Bijan, I need you to get me some fantasy points. You got auto-drafted to my team. So, need you to get me some points. I'm taking the Buccaneers. They got Baker Mayfield. They have Mike Evans. I believe Chris Goodwin is close to returning. And the Falcons have Kyle Pitts. They have Bijan. They got, who is their starting quarterback right now? That sounds awful. I should know this. Forgive me for not knowing it, but and also forgive me for this because it looks like I left the game off of here. So the Vikings most likely play somebody. I don't know who they play because at the time of this recording, it looks like I forgot to write that down. And the NFL wouldn't give a team a week 1 bye. That would be asinine. But I'm picking the Vikings over whatever team they play. The 49ers and the Seahawks in NFC West rivalry. I'm taking the 49ers. I don't know how I feel about Sam Darnold and Cooper Kupp being the answer in Seattle. So, yeah. Texans, Rams. Now, the thing with the Texans is they need to get that man CJ Stroud an O-line. CJ Stroud is a hell of a player, a phenomenal player. But if you do not get that man an O-line, his career is going to be the same as David Carr's career. And that is something that bothers me. The Rams. Stafford is hurt. And they are not letting us in on if Stafford is even going to play week 1. So, Texans over the Rams. And then we come to the conclusion of week 1 NFL football, which I cannot wait because this is a matchup I have been waiting for since January of 2025. Sunday Night Football in Buffalo. The Bills versus the Ravens in a divisional round rematch. The Ravens were, I'm not going to say they were 1 game away because that was 2 years ago when we were 1 game away. The Ravens were this close to making it back to the conference game. And then what happened? A Mark Andrews drop of the ball. And everybody's going to fault that. But no, there were plenty of other mistakes in that game. The cold weather played a factor because I can say it now because time's passed. We've moved on to Tyler Loop. A perv by the name of Justin Tucker was, getting happy endings out here and causing his team the game. But that's not the only thing that happened. In the game itself, we are going to take accountability here. Andrews fumbled. Lamar threw a pick and fumbled. They are at fault as much as the other 2 players that I just named. Now, we also saw the Bills week 4 of last season. And that game was a blowout. Different weather, different elements, and that was at the Bank, I believe. That was at M&T Bank Stadium. Now, the Ravens front. We extended Kyle Hamilton, 4-year deal. Believe we made him the highest paid safety in the league, and I absolutely love to see that for him. Who do I have winning this game and why? Now, I don't think the Ravens are going to come in with their heads up their ass, for lack of better words. So I'm not going to overthink this. I'm not going to say, oh, we're going here and then I'm going to go back on my word. We are taking the Baltimore Ravens to beat the Buffalo Bills. Now, let's talk about some other stuff in the world of the NFL. The NFL Rivalry jerseys debuted, or we got our first looks at them. The Cardinals, in my opinion, is the weakest one. The helmet's cool. The jersey looks like a tortilla. The strongest one is the Buffalo Bills. I can say stuff nice about my rivals and my opponents. The whiteout, icy look never fails. Minnesota did it with their helmet last year. The Packers, I believe, did it with their helmet, their alternate helmet last year. The Jets did a Gotham theme. The Dolphins did a kind of Miami Vice spin on it. So, love to see that. We are still doing a giveaway on this channel once we hit 500 subs. We are currently at 304 subs. Once we hit 500 subs, the winner of the second giveaway will be entered into the second Fourth Down Forum podcast giveaway, where the winner will receive either a mini helmet. Well, it's a mini helmet of either their collegiate team or their NFL team. So the other thing I can say right now, thank you all for the love. Thank you for the support. We're back. We're going to be producing more content. I haven't figured out a schedule for when content's going to be pushed, but we will be pushing content again. Basketball is coming up in October. Probably want to do a deep dive on that. College football is back. The NFL is back. Things we love to see. Appreciate y'all being here. Much love and support, and I will see y'all back here for episode 6. Give me a second. Yeah, episode 68. Much love.
Waiting for my day when I'm playing sold out shows for 1,000 faces.